Hello and thank you for joining. My name is Craig Irvin and you are watching part 2 of using VBScript to manage and set specific attributes in Active Directory. In part 1 we basically created a VBScript that would make a connection to Active Directory and then also display the results of the distinguished name attribute. Now in part 2 what we're going to be doing is using a regular expression to extract the account information from the distinguished name attribute. Some other information, which was covered in part 1, are the environment requirements as well as the end result goals that we have for this script. Now, to cover a little bit of the facts, Active Directory in this particular case for the fictitious hosting company that I'm using as an example has basically decided that they're going to use the account number as part of the OU name for each customer. Also at the same time, we have other objects that can include the account number in their names, such as contacts, possibly, as well as security groups. So in order to zero in on the account numbers, we have to look at a few things because we're using the distinguished name attribute. We have different scenarios that we can run into. With users, most likely they're not going to include an account number on their common name, but a group can have an account number tied to it, such as you see here on the example number 2. So whenever we're going to be running a regular expression, we want to make sure that we skip past using the file share name instead of the actual OU name that you see in red. So the regular expression that I chose to use in this particular case, as you see here, will help zero in specifically on just the OU name. And some good resources I've included. Primarily the one from the MSDN site from Microsoft is a nice one to read, as well as if you want to get a little bit more expanded results, just go ahead and go to your favorite search engine and do a search on VBScript regular expressions. So to pick this regular expression apart, just wanted to go through the major groupings here so you can see exactly what it's doing. So in the first one, we're looking specifically for OU equals. The backslash is used for an escape character, so the regular expression knows that it's actually looking for the equals. So the next piece here that you see A through Z in uppercase is actually case sensitive, but because what you'll see later on that I'm ignoring case, that this will search for both upper and lower case. Now, if you weren't using this command, then the example A-Z uppercase and then right next to it A-Z lowercase would take care of searching for both upper and lowercase values. The next piece is the backslash dash, which is another escape character indicating that we're looking for a dash. And then the last major piece is 0 through 9 for comma. And essentially what this means is that I'm looking for any numeric characters of at least 4 or more. There's going to be a chance that this company might grow past having 9,999 customers. In order to take this into account, I went ahead and put the comma, which indicates or more, essentially. Alright, so here's the script that we're going to be covering. I just called it stage 2. And essentially, the only thing that we're going to wind up adding to the existing script, which this will be on the website, is this particular piece here, along with all the declarations at the top. So you have your regular expression stuff, and then this little subroutine here has changed a little bit as well, mainly to go through and pull out the distinguished name, and then once it's set, then we can actually go through it with the regular expression checker to find what we're looking for. And in the slides, I also was talking about trimming out some of the information that we no longer need, because the account number is actually going to be PA, in this particular case PA-0001, and the regular expression is actually looking for OU equals. So we want to trim that out, and essentially that's just 3 characters. So we're going to trim out 3 characters with this statement here, and then once we get the shift result, which is what I always call it, then we're going to apply this particular statement here, which is essentially saying take the right value of this result, and then this is the shift that we're doing over to the right, and then we're going to echo the results. In addition, for anything that is outside of the customer's root OU, which would be just the root of the customers, then we're going to make sure that we set a default value of this here, so we can actually run a report inside Active Directory to find out what the objects are actually in error. And here we are inside Active Directory, and I just wanted to share this little saved query for you. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to look for any objects in error, and as we can see, this particular one here is in error. The actual query that I did is just by going into define query, targeting the customer's OU, going in here, going to custom search and then advanced, and then you can input this. So essentially what this allows you to do is to always make sure that if you do create any new objects and they are in error of receiving a correct account number, then you'll always know about it just by going in here and refreshing this query. So if you come over here to ADSI Edit and take a look at this particular object here and go to the extension attribute 1, we can see that it's actually set to this. So if we just go ahead and clear this and then go back into Active Directory and refresh this report, it'll disappear. Alright, and here we are at the command prompt, and we're going to go ahead and run this part 2 script. And when you're at the command prompt, you want to make sure that you always use cscript, otherwise you're going to have a bunch of windows pop up on you. Here's part 2, and essentially we're going to display the distinguished name, and then right after that we're going to go through the regular expression and find any account information, which would then be displayed as a state number dash 4 numbers, and the OU equals will be trimmed out like I covered in the script. And there you have it. Now to show how a regular expression can really change the results of what you're looking for, I'm going to go ahead and change the regular expression to be this. So as you notice that I no longer have the OU in there, and matter of fact we'll go ahead and redo that. So here's our new regular expression, and we're going to go ahead and run that. And as you can see, with some of these results that just got returned, we have two different responses. And that is because with the regular expression, in this particular case here with all the zeros, we did a 4 comma, which means 4 or more. In this one here, with the AA-0001, it's going through and looking for anything A through Z that is not case sensitive. So A through Z 2. So when the regular expression is parsing through, it is actually seeing the first character, it skips it, and then it sees character, character, dash, and it reports that as the account number. So essentially, if we were storing an array, we'd wind up having 2 account numbers for one particular group. So that's why we want to append the OU, because OU equals PA-001. So that's the true account number. That should always be correct. And here's what we're going to cover in part 3. Essentially, we're going to record some information in 2 different log files. One is going to be for changes done to the Active Directory objects, and the other one is going to be some statistic information that we can look over and see how the script is running over time.